Today's My Thoughts Monday is brought to you by GymAware, the leading tool when measuring performance in the weight room. Guys, VBT is all the craze right now. It's a hot, sexy topic, although it's something that's been around for a while. And the man who wrote the book on velocity-based training, Brian Mann, has called the GymAware the Rolls Royce when it comes to velocity measuring devices. Guys, the ability for you to shoot all your information right up into the cloud and store it right away is enough for me right there to make sure that this is something that I had in my weight room. Putting things together with instant feedback as to how the reps are being performed. On top of that, with the x-axis correction, so you don't have to necessarily worry about direct positioning when you're performing the exercises. Tying that in with the visualization of everything and the ability to allow the athletes to compete, make this an absolutely stellar tool and something I couldn't recommend you having in your weight room enough. Hop on over to kinetic.com.au today and see everything that they have to offer. Hey, what's up, guys? This is DeMayo coming at you this week with a My Thoughts Monday. As we roll into what many people consider to be the greatest month of the athletics calendar, that being March, and we roll through championship weekend, which coming out Monday, that'll be this last weekend. I think there's a few things that we need to talk about when we're looking at this time of year. The biggest thing that I would like to talk about is looking at this weekend that just passed, or for a lot of us the last 2 weeks, with all the excitement and the hoopla around what's about to happen here with the NCAA tournament coming and all the great games in the conference tournaments that have just passed. We need to remember that there's a lot of teams who played their last contest. A lot of teams who had their last game and all the work of 12 months put into came to an abrupt halt. But for no one was that halt more abrupt than those who played their last game. We all know that crazy things happen as this time of year ends, and people are moving around with jobs and this, that, and the other thing. But the ones that really get it the hardest are the student athletes who have played their last game. And this really hit me pretty hard. It was Thursday, sitting in our hotel watching a game after we had just advanced in our tournament, and watching someone in our league who is an absolute stellar player go out injured. And it's absolutely heartbreaking, of course, to see a kid who's fought and grown and been such a astounding player end his season and his career at that institution with an injury. It got me thinking about the guys that we had that it could be their last game. And then crutching my way to the locker room after we had lost on Friday in what was really a great college basketball game. Seeing one of them consoling the player that he actually had an opportunity to tie and win the game for us. The kid whose last game it was, consoling the kid who missed the shot, really hit heavy to me, and really made me think about everything that they've put in and how much they've grown, and understanding how completely right Matt Johnson was when he posted that tweet on the 9th, which I believe was after their last game, about looking at your seniors and understanding that, there's 30-something conferences and 30 teams, 32 teams, whatever it may be, are walking out with trophies, maybe 64, however many there are, if there's, a regular season champion different than the conference tournament champion. But the kids that you're dealing with, the student athletes that you're dealing with, are the actual living trophies. It's something that I couldn't agree with more, and I think it was really a powerful statement, and one that has resonated a lot with me. When you're dealing with kids that start out as a knucklehead walk-on who can't get out of his own way, who just gets into stupid trouble because he's just a nitwit about things, who turns it around so far that he earns a scholarship for a year. To be the guy consoling the kid, you know, as a player who was such a hard worker, who showed up for everything, you know, it really hit heavy to sit there and see another guy who, unfortunately, because he was hurt, you know, it's a knee, a foot, a back, you know, just one after another, just could never get the ball rolling. And to see them still show up every day for practice and still contribute in any way possible and still show up at whatever ungodly time they needed to come into the weight room to get in whatever they needed to do, really resonated hard with me. You know, and those of you that know me may think that, well, it's because Matt Johnson said it, and I know that Jay's a big Matt Johnson fan and a big supporter of everything that Matt does up there at GW, but it's not. It's more than that. It's because when we watched that game and you saw Utah go down, who's probably one of the 10 or 15 best players and 10 or 15 most improved players that I've seen come through in our time here in the Atlantic 10. It's just, it's kind of heartbreaking because you know that at any minute these things could stop, and that, you know, that's a kid that they could have maybe kept going if it wasn't for him getting hurt. So understanding that this time of the year, as crazy and as exciting as, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are about to be, let's also remember that for the excitement and the last second shots and the last second buckets and the heroics of all of it, on the other side, it's going to be somebody's last game. And it's going to be somebody for fighting for their career as a player and understanding that the people around them, you know, need to continue to be there for them after this abrupt end. Because we all know that, you know, the ending of the career is probably harder than any other moment that these kids go through because of having all the structure and having all the camaraderie and being together and having an identity within that team is now all of a sudden, in one way, shape, or form, kind of taken from them. So as we look at these, keep those seniors in mind, man. You know, love those kids. Be there for them. Because just because their seasons are ending, you know, whether it be today, tomorrow, or next week, or it's already happened, know that, you know, we still need to be there for them and be part of what they're doing and to help them to continue to move and progress through their college experience and further. It's something that, to be totally honest with, I need to be better at, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because sitting there in that locker room on Friday, that was hard. And sitting there and looking at those kids who battled continuously for us, a team that, you know, we had a hard time at times this year, but they never gave up. And those kids led the way, and they kept everybody together and kept pushing them. And I can't thank them enough for everything that they did. And I'm gonna do everything I can to be there for them. And I hope everyone else will be there too for their graduating seniors, and cherish the time with them, because the work and the frustration and the headaches and the battling all come to an end, and then you look back and all you're going to remember is the good times. So yeah, just to close this out, MJ, thanks for sharing that, bro. That was big time. If you haven't seen it, search at Strength Coach MJ on Twitter and read it and bookmark it and save it, so that when there is a time when you're looking at your kids, because, you know, student athletes are student athletes. They're 18 to 22 year olds. They are going to do some knucklehead bullshit at some point. But keep that as a reminder because he couldn't be more right. And I can't thank Coach Sutton, who was one of his mentors that told him that, for sharing that with Matt, and Matt for sharing that with us. And we'll be back next week with another My Thoughts Monday, guys. Hopefully a little bit more exciting and a little bit happier. And I'll just leave it with Joe, and Paulie. Love you guys. Thanks for everything.